All right, hi everyone. I see some of you are still coming in the room, connecting to audio, getting ready to go. We'll give everyone just another minute or two and start the presentation shortly.
So that's everyone in the waiting room, Derek.
All right, and we're at 102, and as a business school, I feel like we're pretty good about starting properly, so we'll go ahead and jump in. So hi everyone, it's very nice to have you all here with us today in a different context and different format than we all have expected. Certainly, I would assume the same for you, but we're very excited to welcome you to the Kogod School of Business and American University. Today, we're just going to review some basic information to welcome you as transfer students. I will first say that this information may not be the most exciting, but it is definitely necessary information to help you get started at AU and in Kogod and be successful. So to kick things off, my name is Derek Giansanti. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Programs, and I help to lead our Kogod advising team. I'm just here to say hello and to be a part of the presentation, and our academic advisors and our team will take it from here to introduce themselves and to sort of dive into the information. So again, we're so excited to have you here on Zoom. Hopefully we can welcome you to campus sometime in the near future, but for now, it's great to connect with you all, so welcome. All right, Danielle, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So my name is Danielle Grier, and I'm one of the academic advisors here in Kogod. And as Derek just said, welcome. We're really excited to have you all virtually with us today, and we're going to share a bit about your transition to Kogod. And so here is the Kogod undergraduate programs team, and we'd like to introduce you to everyone. And so I'll start from the first row, going from left to right, and then the second row going from left to right. So the first person that you see on the screen is Casey Evans, and unfortunately she wasn't able to be with us today during this call, but she sends her welcome to you all. And she's the Interim Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and Student Services. Derek, who you just met, is the Director of Undergraduate Programs. Daniel Pringle is Operations and Data Coordinator. Rayon Fulton is the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Advising and is an academic advisor as well. Meredith Vaughn is an academic advisor. Cheney Doyle is the Assistant Director of KSB Honors and Advising, and she's an academic advisor as well. And as I just said, my name is Danielle Grier, and I'm an academic advisor here in Kogod. So a question that you all may be asking right now is, who is your academic advisor? And so to answer that, students in Kogod don't get assigned a particular academic advisor. Instead, we have a team advising model where you can choose the advisor or advisors that you work with. And so if you meet with a particular advisor and you want to continue meeting with them and you've developed a great advising relationship, you can continue to do so. Or if you don't have a preference or someone's out of the office, you can choose who you meet with. And in terms of contacting us, you can do so through email at ksbadvising@american.edu or through phone call and leave a voicemail at 202-885-1914. And in terms of appointments, we offer 15 or 30-minute appointments, which you can schedule from the website on the screen at kogod.american.edu/advising. And we also offer daily Zoom drop-in appointments, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in terms of advising expectations, we have certain expectations that you can expect of us and expectations that we have for you. So in terms of what you can expect from us, you can expect us to assist you as you navigate different campus resources. And there's going to be a future slide where we go over some of those campus resources that you can utilize. You can also expect us to help you understand academic regulations, and we also have a future slide where we'll go over some of those. We can also help you with long-term course planning, and so we can create a tentative graduation plan with you and map out your remaining semesters here at AU. We'll also assist you with registration as you're trying to figure out what courses to take for upcoming semesters. For study abroad, if there are students and you're thinking of what study abroad opportunities are available for your time at AU, we can assist you with that as well. And if you're trying to earn academic credit for internships, we can assist you with that process as well. And you can also expect that you'll receive an email from us within 1 business day recapping your advising meetings, which you can refer back to later on, and you can have a document of everything that we discussed. In terms of expectations that we have for you, firstly, we expect that you know your degree requirements. So as of right now, some of you may not necessarily know what that is, and that's okay. But based off of your major, you'll have different degree requirements, and we expect you to familiarize yourself with that, and we can assist you along the way as well. We also expect that you check your AU email daily and read emails from Kogod Student News and KSB Advising. So we send out information, and we expect that you read that so that you're aware of all the information that's being shared. We also expect that you bring your laptop every time you meet with an advisor. And since we're meeting virtually, a lot of you are already on your laptops for Zoom appointments, so that's kind of knocking that out of the park. We also expect that you make the most of your advising meeting by being prepared. And so coming prepared with questions that you may have, and just an overall agenda of what you wanted to discuss during your advising appointment. And lastly, we expect that you conduct yourself professionally in all communications, including email. And so making sure that you're professional and respectful in all your communications with fellow Kogod students, with faculty and staff, including KSB Advising.
All right, so I'm going to go over a little bit of the advising vocabulary you'll probably start to hear us using if you haven't already in some meetings with us this summer. So important terms and phrases to know first are add drop. This refers to the first 2 weeks of school, so August 24th through September 4th, 2020. This is when you can add and drop classes with no penalty, so within that time frame. The next phrase you'll often hear us use is withdraw. So for this semester, October 30th is the last day to withdraw from a class in fall 2020. So if you withdraw from a class, that means you're going to receive a W on your transcript. It does not affect your GPA, but it will appear on the transcripts. And then another phrase you'll commonly hear us use is wait list. So this refers to if a section of a class is full, you can join the wait list. The way it works is if a seat opens up from the wait list, the first student in line on the wait list will be notified via email from the registrar. Once you get that notification, you've got 24 hours to decide if you would like to register for the class or not. Another important thing to do is if you're on a wait list, make sure you're checking your email daily, because those emails from the registrar will go out any day of the week, holidays or weekends, whether the university is open or not. And we cannot retroactively put you into a class if you miss that 24-hour registration window. A couple other things to remember too is you can be on up to a maximum of 3 wait lists at any given time, but only 1 wait list per class. So for example, you could only wait list accounting 240 one time. All right, and now I'm going to turn it over to Rayon to talk about degree requirements.
Sure. We'll look at the Kogod degree requirements. You may have seen this in an email, so we'll look at a few things, and of course, at the end, we may be able to dive in a little deeper. But just starting at the top, working our way down, all Kogod degree majors require writing 100 and 101, which are your W1, Kogod Math, which is the Stat 204 Business Statistics, and iTech 320, which is Business Analytics. There's AUX Experience, AU Core 101, and AU Experience 2, Core 200. There's Complex Problems, Core 105. Habits of Mind courses, which are classes which falls typically under our general education umbrella, and we'll look a little bit closer in the next few slides. And all majors have the same 13 Kogod core courses, as we'll look at the next slide as well. From the Kogod core. So the first group we looked at was the American University core, which is classes that all students at American University should be taking. And the Kogod core shows exactly courses you need for one of our undergraduate business degree. So by looking at the top and working our way down, we'll touch on some courses here. The intro course, KSB 100, or an upper level business course. You may have heard one or the other if you've met with one of our team members here. There's Econ 150, Economics for Business. There's Accounting 240, Principles of Financial Accounting, iTech 200, The Edge of Information Technology, Marketing 300, Finance 365, and Management 458, which is your capstone. So that just gives us a snapshot of looking at some class that falls under the Kogod core umbrella. As you notice, you get a taste of almost everything before you jump into your capstone, which is the final course and a culmination before you walk across the graduation stage. And next are the electives. So of course, free electives are additional courses outside of your major that's required that you need to reach 120 total credits. Any course that is open for which you meet the prerequisites can count as an elective, and transfer credits may already satisfy all or some of your elective credits. So if you looked at one of your enrollment sheets that was emailed out to you, or later on today, you will see a space for free electives, and they'll let us know where we can plug in certain classes, or if your transfer credits take up those courses. So for now, we had a chance to look at the AU core, Kogod core, and the free electives, and of course, we'll have some visual aids moving forward. And then finally is tips for success. Some things we'll say is always learn your degree requirement. You have the opportunity to meet with us in a variety of manners, phone calls, emails, drop-ins, or scheduling appointments. Learn about important dates such as add drop, withdrawal, spring break, etc. Utilize all campus resources, whether in person or virtual. There's different resources that you can fully take advantage of, just get more accustomed to the university. For example, we have a Center for Business Communications. You may need help with your writing class, so why not start looking at different virtual options? And always be prepared for your advisory meeting when it comes to even any forms we send out, or even your laptop, just log in while we're together in person, as we'll always put the ownership on you to take care of your academic business.
So I can discuss some of the rules and regulations to be mindful of. So firstly, all major, minor, specialization, and AU core courses must be passed with a grade of C or better. So these are the required courses, and some of those are the ones that Rayon just discussed. And again, only free electives may be taken as pass-fail grade type. The third rule and regulation that we want you all to be mindful of is that students may only attempt a class a maximum of 3 times. And this also includes any course that you would withdraw from. And so for example, if a student registered for Econ 150 in fall 2020, but then withdrew from the course, that would be considered 1 attempt. And then if they decided to retake it in spring 2021, that would be considered their 2nd attempt. And the last rule and regulation to be mindful of is that no more than 5 courses can be repeated.
All right. So next, we've kind of alluded to some of them, but we wanted to go over some of the resources available to you as Kogod students. We have our Office of Career Engagement. That's a career center specifically for Kogod students. They host a lot of great recruitment events, different events to learn about, opportunities within your field. They also have career advisors, so they're going to be available virtually like we are all fall semester for you. As Rayon mentioned before, we've got our Center for Business Communication. The style you use to write business assignments can be quite different than your typical writing course, so they're a great stop to learn more about that. Additionally, we have our Student Involvement Office. They're great for getting connected to any of the numerous student organizations we have within Kogod. They also host really cool opportunities like our Kogod Case Competition. We have our Global Learning Office. They're a great liaison if you think of, you'd like to study abroad in a future semester. And then we also have our International Student Support Office for our international students. That's a great place to get to know other international students and have some resources for you. Next, I'm going to go over campus resources. These are also going to be available to you in fall, just in the virtual format. So we first and foremost have our Academic Support and Access Center. That houses different opportunities such as supplemental instruction for certain courses, peer tutoring, our writing lab and center. They also host a lot of different workshops. So for example, if this is maybe your first time taking classes online, I'm sure they're going to probably offer some great resources and tips on how to be successful in the virtual setting. That's also where we have our Disability Support and Accommodations Center. So if you need to receive any accommodations for classes, this is the office you want to head to. And we also have our Math and Stats Lab for additional tutoring. Next, we have the Dean of Students. They are there to help both in academic and personal concerns. For example, if you had a medical issue that required you miss class for a couple of days, they could help in communicating that to your professor. They also assist with things like medical leaves and whatnot. And then we have our confidential resources on campus. Once again, these will also be available to you in a virtual setting. The first is OASIS, our Victim Advocacy Center. They have 2 victim advocates there to meet with students. We also have our Counseling Center, our Student Health Center, and then the Ordained Clergy at K Spiritual Life. These are all confidential resources, which means that they will not be sharing what you disclose to them unless in very specific scenarios or without your permission. The other resources I mentioned on the previous pages are private, but the information may be shared on a need-to-know basis. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Rayon.
From the to-do, so there's different things. Of course, we have a couple weeks before classes begin, but just some to-do list items if you haven't completed already. Make sure you send all final transcripts, AP, IB, A-level exam scores to AU admissions so we can look at any possible transfer credit. Familiarize yourself with your financial aid and scholarship requirements. I know I've met with a couple of you all who spoke about financial aid, scholarships, and different opportunities, so now would be a great time to circle back and meet with a financial counselor to outline your financial status before making any payments. And always check your AU email daily from American University and from KSB Advising, which will come from your undergraduate advising team. And finally, which we'll do before you have a chance to meet with an advisor, is let's review your credits and your roadmap. And this just give you a blank sheet of roadmap, which outlines our business administration program, which is our most flexible program here, but to give you a snapshot of items that I've been speaking of. It's pretty small, but we'll see it just shows AU core courses, the habits of mind, and on the other side, you see the whole Kogod core. One thing that we're going to take a great look at is the bottom part has the free electives. As I mentioned earlier, free electives could be where your transfer credits may come into play, or you may look into double specializing or minor. But once again, working one-on-one with any of us here on the academic advisory team, we can outline it for you correctly. But this outlines all 120 credits you need to obtain the undergraduate degree here of one of our schools of business and one of our majors.
All right, we really zoomed through that, and yes, pun intended. So there have been some great questions in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and address now. If you guys want to keep dropping some questions in the chat or want to kind of work through them, feel free to unmute yourself, ask us some questions. We definitely did kind of an overview, broad, like Rand said, you'll have a chance to meet with an advisor, go a little bit more in depth. So a few of the questions. In the past, has Kogod arranged social events for KSB students to meet other students in their major? Are such events planned virtually for the fall? That isn't necessarily always our office, but yes, there's a lot going on within Kogod. We have a full student development team within Kogod specifically. They help with a lot of business-specific organizations, different events. You'll often find that Kogod's events too will have like events with a purpose that then have a networking component. Great chance for you to meet other people within that. Am I missing anything in terms of events, social opportunities? Great. But yeah, definitely keep checking your email, and also the Kogod newsletter that we get in our email every week has a lot of great opportunities in there. And yes, lots of virtual events and virtual opportunities this fall. Another question, could you elaborate on which upper level business class can satisfy the KSB 100 requirement? This is a great question, we get it a lot. KSB 100 is the introduction to business. Some of you might have transferred in a similar class from a different institution.
Yeah.
Some of you might not have, but you're like in your third year of taking business classes. So you're like, why would I take an intro to business class? In which case for those credits, we'll accept anything that's 300, 400, or 500 level within Kogod. So it could have a marketing, prefix, finance, accounting, management, anything that's a Kogod course, upper level, already not required for you, that would satisfy that requirement. Another question, where can I find my tuition bill information? Very important. If you log into your My AU portal, there should be a whole financial section there. Our office does not have access to any financial documents. We don't know what every individual person is. And so we do have a centralized place called AU Central. They're AU Central at american.edu. That does do all of the student tuition, student accounts, that sort of thing. But you should be able to log into your My AU portal to at least review that. Another question, are there any scholarships that transfer students should look for? I don't believe any come to my mind. Definitely look for outside scholarships as it relates to transfer students from different organizations, things outside the university. AU Central and or the financial aid office would be a great place to ask that question to about specific transfer student scholarships. Another question, what about internships through Kogod? You came to the right place. So the average, maybe I don't want to mess it up. Ryan, you might know the average Kogod student has what, like 3.5 internships throughout their time here? Is that right?
3.5 internships.
Yeah. So we have a full office, like Meredith referenced, the Office of Career Engagement, that helps you find an internship. So they'll help you from, working on your resume, interviewing skills, hooking you up with potential like career fairs or the equivalent that you can start making those foundational relationships and get those interviews. Once you secure an internship, which OCE helps with, if you want to do it for credit, that's where we come in. We'll help hook you up with the faculty member that will then be your academic faculty member and help kind of with the credit piece. So you would talk to our office for that, but the whole Office of Career Engagement is really well situated to help you with internship related things. Another question, if I'm not able to be back in the US, can I take all online courses for fall in my home country? Great question, yes. So as of this past week, the entire university is online this fall for the health and safety of our students, staff, and faculty. And so that also extends to if you're in a different country. If you're in a different time zone, that's something that you want to make sure that you are communicating with your professors about. Oh, great. Someone answered my question for me in there with the link to the tuition information. Are there other questions if you want to type them or unmute yourself, introduce yourself, ask us anything from kind of the broad overview?
If I could just hop back a little bit, Cheney. You were speaking about scholarships, and I believe Rayan mentioned the Kogod newsletter that comes out weekly or so. I would make sure to always check that for scholarship information. It also has a lot of information about internships and job opportunities. It's a really good resource of kind of the opportunities that we as Kogod staff members know. We kind of funnel that into that newsletter every week, so that students are kind of all given the same information and same links.
Great, thanks, Dan. Will there be any training on the use of library online resources? That's a great question. I think we probably all could utilize some sort of training in that since this is brand new. I believe, I would hope that they would put something up there. I think if you just look at American University's library webpage, and maybe if someone can look at that right now and shoot us a link if there's something. But I do think that there is the need for some of those online trainings from the library. So stay tuned on that. Would there be any reason that a class isn't showing up in Blackboard? I'm currently registered for 5, but only 4 are showing. I think someone just asked this recently. I believe your courses all should be there, but as long as you're registered for all 5, like it might just be a delay in putting the 5th one on Blackboard. You could always, we do have a Blackboard support email. I can pull it up real quick that you could shoot that to. That question to. And that email address is
To add something else really quickly, we went through the presentation, I think, faster than we thought. We thought there would be additional questions, but something to think about for the fall, especially this fall. This is not only a difficult time for a lot of folks, but it's also folks at American University are also trying to sort of work through and figure out what our right moves and what our right steps are. So more than ever, I think it's so important to just be communicative, not only with our team, if you're having any challenges or if things are going well, we want to hear it. We encourage you to be in touch with your faculty members and sort of tell them again where you are located, if there's a sort of a time difference concern or family concerns or internet concerns. More than ever, again, I know it's difficult often to sort of share that vulnerability, but we really encourage you to do that. We're here to help. So don't ever feel like it's, try not to feel like it's a burden to us or anything. We really want to make things work this semester as best we can. We're all kind of in this together, figuring it out. But we're excited to have you here. It's just, will take, I think, a little bit of retooling and rethinking about how we have offered our services. So any feedback as well too, if things are going well or not going how you had hoped really anywhere across the university, we're happy to sort of jump in and see what we can do to connect some dots that in person were probably easy to address, maybe a little bit more difficult virtually. But again, we're here for you. So just wanted to flag that item.
Sure. A couple more quick questions that have come in. Is it possible to get these presentation slides? Meredith, can you send them out to the students, both I think that attended and were unable to attend?
Yeah, I can send it out, and then we're also recording this session as well.
And do I just have to email kogodcareers@american.edu to schedule an appointment with the Office of Career Engagement? You can reach out to them via their email, but if you go to their website, there's a place where you click schedule now and it takes you to Handshake. Kogod loves Handshake, so if you don't have an account yet, I think you can go in and register now with your AU credentials. So you'd want to set up your Handshake account and then you can schedule with them through there. But if you do have any difficulties utilizing that, you can email them at Kogod Careers and they can help you with that and help you schedule. Thanks, Derek. That link's in the chat. We've got lots of handy links in the chat. Make sure you guys are checking out that. Give it a few more moments to see if any last minute questions come in. Should we go ahead and put the link in the chat for advising appointments also? Here's another question. Do you know, for the students in the DMV, will the college still be sending out the UPass, or how could I obtain that? There have been a lot of questions about the UPass, understandably so, from a lot of students with this new announcement. I don't think our team exactly knows that, so I would keep an eye on the FAQs. And I think, Derek, you had links to the AU Forward FAQs earlier, or you linked to the library specific ones. But I do know that there is, I think, still the opportunity to get the UPass, and they will communicate that. I'm not sure if anyone has a better answer.
That's my understanding as well. There's an opportunity for the UPass for students in the DMV, and then students can opt out of it who will not be in DC. More specifics about that, I'm not quite sure. I know that there is a webpage that is being updated based on COVID-19 and the FAQ. So I would definitely encourage students to check there. But that's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, currently the frequently asked questions page around COVID-19 for all aspects, waiving the UPass or picking it up, they're directing students to the actual UPass page. So if you look at the frequently asked questions, there is a link. The UPass page itself is still in the process of getting updated with that waiver form and that additional information. So I'd encourage you to just keep checking back on that page.
I just put in a link in our chat. We have blocked off the rest of the afternoon for you all, so we could stay in here until 2 o'clock if you all would like to keep asking questions or to introduce yourselves, or if you're feeling pretty confident in all that we shared, again, albeit briefly, there's an opportunity to meet with an academic advisor this afternoon at any time of your choosing to review your transfer credits, your applying schedule for the fall, and really address any more specific questions you would like. So again, I just put that, it's a Google form, a Google Doc link. So just go ahead and type your first and last name in there. And then there's sort of instructions as well about the Zoom rooms and other things. So let us know if you have questions about that. We'll leave that up for a few minutes so everyone can have the link and schedule their time. But we're here if you have more questions.
So what are you all most nervous about coming to EU for the first? I remember I've also started a program this fall, so I am a new student as well. So it's going to be a nice challenge. I'm probably a little bit older than most of you, so it's going to be a little different for me to get in the swing of things, but I know something that as a staff member is a little bit easier for me is kind of talking to my professors and asking them how they're going to structure the semester. Do any of you kind of want any advice or have any advice that you found that you want to share with your peers? I can just tell you what I do. I can tell you what I do, what you guys think. So what I find works best is our business faculty. A lot of them come from the business world, so they aren't strictly academics. They've worked in their fields, so they're pretty go, go, go. They don't like a lot of fluff, a lot of, hi, how are you? It's nice to be polite, but they kind of want to know what you want and what they can do to help you. So like a nice email to a professor who you're still really kind of just like not really sure how their class is going to run this fall would be like, let's say Derek Jansanti is your professor. Like, hi, Mr. Jansanti, my name's Dan. I'm taking your course, XYZ at this time. Right now, like I'm living in California, so the time difference is a little bit off. So I'm just kind of curious if you can share some more information about how you plan to run your course this fall semester. Any advice you can give me or any guide you give me would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And that's nice, simple, and easy. Very polite. Very kind of asking a question that you like a leading question to kind of get them in the area that you want them to really focus their answer on.
I've seen a couple sessions. I know you all are a little nervous about not only coming to a new school, but maybe not having the in-person experience, but also that one-on-one connection, meeting new people. And one thing that's unique about Kogod, whether we're virtual or in person, is there's still small classes. So there'll be smaller class sizes, an opportunity for you to connect, even though there won't be too many breakout rooms or anything in person. We've done so much over the summer to prepare for breakout rooms and sessions via Zoom to kind of give us as much in-person opportunity as possible, as Derek mentioned, and as we always joke, kind of we're all in this together. So I think that's one thing that we'll keep, that the classes will still be small with average about 30 students. And then of course you'll have a chance to kind of network across the board. And also you can always reach out to our team for anything that's coming up in addition to the website. So I think you'll be in pretty great shape. The best things, you have one main point of contact, you've been accepted into the school, and you're already at orientation. So you made the leap. Now we'll just kind of make the leap together, and hopefully by the spring we'll be here. So you'll be in great shape. So just always over communicate with professors and students, because they're all here and willing to help you out.
That's great, Rand. Just to throw in really quickly, in addition to Rand's comment, faculty, Rand mentioned everyone's been working really hard this summer to make the fall as valuable as it can be. I'll say especially for faculty, I saw in the chat someone mentioned nervousness about a fully online semester. That is shared by a lot of students. That we're all, again, this is potentially a sort of a once in a lifetime experience. I will say that faculty have gone through sort of immeasurable training. There have been so many trainings for faculty. So you all weren't here in the spring, but really many places, AU included, they had to sort of pick up what they had already planned and drop it online sort of overnight, virtually, or in our case over spring break. But this summer is a little different. So over the past 3 months, faculty have been redesigning their courses, working with instructional designers to sort of reframe some of their content, reframe engagement online, and make sure that it's not just, an hour and 15 minutes of lectures twice a week or online quizzes and things. It's designed now more than ever to sort of really engage you and involve you. And again, every college course has some lecture component, but I think that you'll find, and I really hope that you find a lot of energy and effort to make it a much better experience than something you may have experienced previously, which is, again, just kind of like dropping it online versus now. It is these courses, all of your courses are designed to be online. So it won't be perfect, but I am confident and hopeful that we'll strike a good balance and hit the mark. Something that I think Ryan also mentioned is over communication here, and I mentioned this earlier too, is key. If things aren't going well in your course, if you're confused about something, if you need help, or if you want to build a relationship with your professor, everyone, again, I think more than ever probably, is open to having those conversations. So although you may be sort of at home or wherever home is for you, don't feel like you're alone in this. Tons of folks, all of us included, want to help figure this out because, again, Rand said, we're all in this together, we're all working through it. So we are similarly waiting to see how things happen, but I am optimistic and confident that it'll be a pretty strong semester and hopefully something we can look back on. We learned a lot, and once we're back on campus, I think it'll feel good that you all really were able to pull off what you're about to pull off.
One thing I'd also like to add in terms of the nervousness about a fully online semester. So in the chat, I just sent a link to our academic success coaches webpage. Similar to us, they're doing You Can Book Me appointments. They're a very good resource when it comes to the actual technical skills to be successful in the class. So not so much the subject material, but for assistance in things like note-taking strategies, test prep. And one of the things they are highlighting this semester are, tips and strategies to be successful in an online learning environment. So that's something I'd highly encourage you all to check out. They use a similar booking system to us. When you go to that web page, the link to schedule an appointment's on the right-hand side. They're generally about 30 minutes. They're really great people over there, so I'd encourage you to check that out.
Somebody did ask a question about the computer requirement, any special software program needed. Derek, do you know the answer to that one? Oh, you're muted.
Darn it, sorry, I thought we could get through one meeting without doing that. Yes, let me pull up the Kogod laptop requirement, and I'll send the link in the chat. So also, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. The basics of it are any computer is fine. Most newer computers will be able to run all the software that's needed. You get a free version of Microsoft Office through your student portal. You can download that. I've heard it's pretty easy. I haven't done it in a while. It's been a while since we've done orientation where we've helped students. But the last I remember was it's pretty easy to get that. If you have a Mac, you have an extra step you have to go through just because you need the Windows versions of Microsoft. There's a program called Boot Camp. It used to be about $60. I was told last year by a student that it's now free. So it's just a free download. I believe if you just Google laptop Kogod American University, there's a link to order that. There's also the link to the full like gigahertz, megabytes, things that I don't know anything about that I probably should. Requirements, but in general, any sort of personal computer is going to work for you.
Yeah, as Dan mentioned, the only thing that's required is Office Pro 365. Really, any laptop could work. It's just basically that you have access to the Microsoft suite. So I'll just put in the chat. It's a longer link, but I think this should link you to that page that has those requirements. It looks a little more daunting than it is, but all these sort of steps and requirements we're going to go through. Most modern, I would say the vast majority of modern laptops will be able to accommodate the requirement.
Yeah, one of the neat things about being a student, you probably had this at your last universities as well, is there's something called the virtual computer lab. So like if you're having difficulties installing things onto your computer, or for whatever reason don't want to, you can link to the virtual computing lab. It's just a brief download, and then you kind of connect through your computer, and it brings up a virtual desktop. So like my background is in political science, and one of our programs that we use a lot to run data and statistics and things like that is called Stata. Please don't ask what, I don't remember. But that is a $300 piece of software. So the virtual computing lab allows me to log in and use that through the university's license. So there are different things like that you have access to that you don't necessarily need. Some programs like, I believe Microsoft Access might not be included in the 365 anymore. That might be incorrect, but things like that where you use infrequently, but you don't have to purchase it because you can get it through the virtual computing lab.
All right, well, we can wait another moment or two if there's more questions. But even if you don't have any questions today, again, remember you can email us anytime at ksbadvising@american.edu. If you think of anything as soon as we hang up, don't hesitate to reach out. And then again, if you wanted to schedule with an advisor just one more time to review your transfer courses as well as your schedule for the fall, the link just dropped. I just dropped the link in again for the Google Sheet. And if you do have any issues scheduling with that, again, you can also email KSB Advising and we'll get something planned for you. But barring any other questions, I think we might wrap up the session. So we'll give everyone 30 more seconds if you think of anything else, and then we'll say goodbye. Lots of thank yous. Thank you all so much. We're making it work this semester. So I look forward to being able to meet you one-on-one in appointments, and then hopefully again back on campus here as soon as possible. So we will talk to you soon, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.